the 96,000, the cash flow quadrant. Maybe some of you are saying, right, I really know, now I know I'm in the right business. But the next question is, am I in the right company? Remember watching the video, it said, find a respectable company that you can be passionate about. Remember watching that? Now, some of you are probably thinking, okay, TG's convinced me I'm in the right business, definitely. Okay, but I'm not sure if I'm in the right company, Qnet. Maybe I should tell you about Qnet. For you to be able to fully understand what you've gotten yourselves into. I know that many of you have actually heard this story. And for those of you who have, I beg your indulgence. But I feel it is imperative that those of you who are here for the very first time know why Qnet is here in Africa. You see, this year we celebrated our 10th anniversary. And maybe to many of you, that doesn't mean much because you joined us last month or 3 months ago or 6 months ago. How many of you have been with us for less than 1 year? Less than 1 year. That's a lot. That is a lot. Okay? So then, I can talk about a 10-year anniversary, but that might have no or not much significance to many of you. Right? So I should explain to you how this Qnet came about. You see, it was back in 1998 at the height of the Asian economic crisis. In 1998, everything in Asia was going down. All businesses were collapsing. Okay? That was the time when a few people decided to get into a business called network marketing. I happened to be there in 1998 when someone talked to me about a business called network marketing. Now, to me, network marketing was a joke. Okay? I'll be very honest with you. In fact, I thought it was a scam. How many of you think that network marketing is a scam? You have no place in this room today. Oh, suddenly they all went down. Okay? The reason I feel that you're here today is because at one point maybe, or maybe now, you've more or less believed that this is a legitimate business. Okay? But don't take my word for it. Allow me to explain. When I was first told about network marketing in 1998, I said to the person who tried to tell me about it, I said, don't get me involved in those scams. I do not want to ruin my name. Okay? And by the way, I forgot to mention to you that back in 1998, in my home country, the Philippines, I was a television news anchor. Okay? And I had been doing the news then for 10 years. So practically everybody in my country knew me. Imagine. And somebody comes to me and says, TG, you should get into this business. It is so cool. You can make so much money in very little time. I said, don't waste my time. I don't want to ruin my name. Because you see, to a television broadcaster, reputation is everything. Are you guys with me? Can you imagine listening to a news anchor on CNN knowing fully well that this person was a criminal? I don't think you'd probably listen to that person, right? I'll bet the next thing you do is change the channel and listen to BBC instead. Right? So that was something I did not want to happen. But then you see, after some time, I began to think, what if there was some truth to what this person was telling me? Although I was convinced in the beginning that this type of a business was a scam, after some time I asked myself, what if it was true? Maybe I should try it out. Okay? And so what I did was, I did try it out. With my family, I got into the business, but then you see, one thing about me is when I get involved in something, I become very, very passionate about what I do. I got involved in this company. I will not name the company. I got involved in that company, and I put in 100% of my effort into building a network. And true enough, within about 4 to 8 weeks, I was already picking up $5,000 checks per week. Okay? $5,000 checks a week. Imagine making that kind of money. With the moment I began to make that kind of money, I dropped broadcasting. I dropped everything. Okay? Now, here's the sad part. After about 2 months, suddenly, the check, which I was expecting every single week to come from the United States, because we were then dealing with an American company, suddenly stopped coming. Are you guys with me? So I was expecting my check on a Friday. The Friday came, and no check. I got scared. Wouldn't you be scared? And then, I remember some of my friends, maybe it could have been Japa, telling me, don't worry, it's just stuck in the mail. The check will come. I kept on working. And the following week, I was expecting another $5,000 check. Guess what? It did not come. I was becoming really nervous. Why? Because my entire reputation was on the line. Are you guys with me? Now, imagine that happening to you today. After having introduced your best friends, your teachers, your grandmother, your brother, your sister, suddenly your check doesn't come. Imagine, just imagine. It's not going to happen, guys, okay? But just imagine. Can you imagine how that will make you feel? Terrible, right? And so, when that began to happen, the members of the V at that time, a small handful of people, okay? Then we got together and asked ourselves, what are we going to do now? We're in deep trouble, okay? And so, what we decided to do was call the American company. And we did that. We spoke with the owner of the American networking company that we were dealing with. And then he says to Dato VJ Ishwaran, because we were together then, he says to Dato VJ, VJ, yeah, what's the problem? And we say, what happened to the checks? Where are they? Why is it not coming anymore? And he says, I changed the plan. I changed the compensation plan. Can you imagine that so far? And we say, you can't do that because there's an agreed compensation plan. You cannot just change the plan and tell us no more checks. And you know what was even worse? He said to VJ, because we were doing this business in the Philippines back then, he said to Dato VJ, you know, VJ, the problem with you is you're too soft with these Filipinos. They're just Filipinos. Did you hear me? You're too soft with these Filipinos. They're just Filipinos. How would you feel if somebody said, don't worry about them, they're just Ugandans? Can you imagine what that made us feel? Having heard that, we knew we were in the wrong company, right? Problem was, we already had built a network of about 1,500, 1,800 people within a few months. So then, we all got together again and decided we'd better do something drastically, because otherwise, all of the 1,500 people who believed in us will lose their entire life savings. Are you guys still with me? And so, I remember exactly where that decision was made, in a coffee shop in some hotel in Manila. Suddenly a decision was made that we should just continue the business with our own company. Okay? Problem was, we were all networkers. We were not CEOs. I imagine, suddenly, a bunch of networkers from here saying, let's just put up the company. It's not easy, believe me. Okay? And then, suddenly after about 2 weeks, the owner of the American company calls us back and says, Vijay, what happened? I'm no longer receiving the checks that you would usually send to me via FedEx or DHL. We used to send checks and application forms regularly to the United States. And he says, what happened? Why did you stop? Wouldn't you stop? Because at that time, we felt, hey, this guy was cheating us. We did not want to have anything to do with this company. And you know what? He had the balls to tell us, tell you what, I'll put it back to the old plan. Just send the checks. He must have thought that we Filipinos were stupid. Well, Dato Vijay is not Filipino, okay, but some of us were. Okay? Probably thought we were stupid. So what did we do? Totally ignored him, and instead founded a company called Gold Quest International. Now, problem was, we did not have any experience, we did not have any capital, we did not have anything much, except the passion to save the 1,500 people from suffering because of the stupidity that that American company had done. Are you guys with me so far? One of the most important tasks that Dato Vijay then did was to raise funds. We had to raise funds to set up the company. Why? Because at that point in time, the American company had already owed the network a lot of money. They owed the network a lot of money, and we had to fix the problem. So what did Gold Quest do? It borrowed a lot of money at the height of the Asian economic crisis. And mind you, the only way to borrow money back in 1998 in Asia was by mortgaging your house. That was the only way. You could not get money through any other means. Nobody would buy a car. Nobody would buy a house. No, there was just no one to buy anything. Okay? And somehow, Gold Quest was able to raise enough money to put it up, to set up the company. And do you know what the very first thing that Gold Quest did back in 1998 was? To pay all of the IRs of that American company everything that it owed the network. Imagine beginning to work with one networking company, suddenly that networking company disappears, another one takes over and says, don't worry, we brought you into this mess, we'll take you out. So what we'll do first is pay everything that they did not pay you, which turned out to be $250,000 US back then, at the height of the Asian crisis in 1998. But then again, what happened because of that? Imagine being paid your commissions by a company that never received any money from you in the first place. That is what this company is all about. The reason we are here today, the reason Qnet is here today, is because 10 years ago, we could not allow 1,500 people to lose their entire life savings simply because one person decided to change the plan. The reason Qnet is here today is not because somebody decided, let's make a lot of money and put up a networking company. Which is the reason most networking companies, by the way, actually become companies. Because somebody says, hey, Qnet is doing so well, why do we put up our own network marketing company? That's how most networking companies come about. But that's what sets Qnet apart from the rest of the networking companies out there. The reason we are here today, 10 years after, is because still, after 10 years, we want to practice rhythm. It's not about the money, guys, believe me. It's not about the money. It's about being able to make a difference in someone's life. That's what it's all about. I hope that somehow, having known the history of this company, oh, but by the way, some of you might ask, wait, you were talking about Gold Quest, now suddenly it's Qnet, right? In 2004, we decided to diversify and get into various different lines of products, okay? We were no longer just into gold products. We got into vacations, telecommunications, many other different kinds of products, which did not make it seem right for us to be continuing under the name Gold Quest. And so it changed and became Qnet. So, Qnet, although it actually became Qnet in 2004, continues to celebrate the beginnings of Gold Quest back in 1998. That is what Qnet is all about. Are you guys with me so far? Now, how many of you would choose to be part of another company that is interested in simply making money? Or how many of you would like to be part of a company that has a heart for the network? How many of you? I'm glad that some of you can see that this company actually has a heart. Because I tell you, that is what sets Qnet apart from many, if not all, of the other companies out there. Now, I have one final question to answer for you. Why the V? Right? The first question I answered for you was, why networking? Then I explained to you why Qnet. Now, why the V? Do you guys realize that the V founded Qnet? Remember? I was talking about the V earlier, back in 1998. The V, a handful of people who said, we cannot allow all of these people to be ripped off, so let's form Qnet. Let me differentiate for all of you the difference between Qnet and the V, okay? Qnet is the network marketing company, right? They have a company, they have offices in many, many countries. They have wonderful products, okay? But then it is the V that is the heart of Qnet. It is the V that is the sole marketing agent of Qnet. It is the V that does all of the training materials for you. It is the V that organizes V Africa for you. It is the V that has the heart for every single IR worldwide. Are you guys with me? That is the reason, it is the V, really. That is the reason why from 1,500 IRs in 1998, we now have way in excess of 4 million. I stopped counting at 4 million, okay? This would not have grown to this size had it not been for the heart of the V. I thank Qnet for its wonderful products. I thank Qnet for its wonderful services, for its fantastic compensation plan, and for all of the effort that every person in Qnet gives for every IR. But I must also have to mention that the V is the one responsible for everything that you see here today. It is the V that built the network from day one. And it is the V that will be with you for as long as you ever want to be in this business with Qnet. So now, imagine Qnet being the vehicle. Qnet is merely a vehicle that will